Welcome, my peeps, my peoples. Peep Squad is in the building. What's good? What's popping? What's going on? What's up, my peeps, my people? We're gonna talk about Snowfall season 3, episode 2. It's going down, baby. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'd be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart, my peeps, my peoples. Peep Squad is in the building, baby. We're going to the top. We're gonna bring others with us. So let's get it popping. Let's talk about Snowfall. It goes down. OMG, Auntie Lou did the hot shot. I was like, OMG. I thought that, she did something like that, but I wasn't really sure that, like, she was ready for that battle, but it ain't no battle. It just seems like Claudia's gone and done with, you know what I mean? But there is a witness, the guy that let, Auntie Lou into, Claudia's, home, her residency. So it's just like, okay. But Auntie Lou did it because, it was going to be a constant battle. And plus, Claudia broke her heart, hurt her, turned her out, did the whole 9 yards. And we see Javi, he's back in the building. And basically, you can tell Javi really likes Franklin. And he don't really want to get involved with Franklin because we all know Javi's out here snitching. He's working with the police. He's working with the DEA. He's working with the detectives. He's out here in these streets. And it's a cold world. And he basically said one thing, greed. And Franklin is starting not to think about greed and trying to change things around too as well, not to be so greedy. That's a lesson. And it also, the greed plays into, Gustavo actually meeting up with Lucia's mother. And, she doesn't trust, Teddy, and she doesn't like him. She's calling him a gringo and stuff like that or whatever, but she doesn't trust him. But the money is right. She's going to be getting 70% and then 50% using her roots and stuff like that. And she was like, the Mexicans do all the hard work, baby. And so, but her greed is going to have her go into business with none other than Reed, and he is the police. But he's like he's like the, he's in the CIA, and he got the government and everybody working with him. You see how they putting the drugs in our community? Do you see? And the guns and everything like that. It's going down, baby. So let's get into it. Let's just talk about this situation. So we got Auntie Lou. She done left the crime scene. She bounced. She scurried away. She's gone. We have none other than Claudia in the tub. Basically, she's gone. OD. And guess who rides to the scene? Andre, the next door neighbor, the cop guy that don't like Franklin because Franklin wants to talk to his daughter and he has a vengeance against Franklin and he wants to take him out. Somebody he knew since he was a child, knew his mother, knew his father, but he wants to put him behind bars forever because he feels like Franklin is destroying the neighborhood. But he's not thinking about the LAPD destroying the neighborhood too as well. And the government that he works for is the same government putting the drugs and the guns out here on the streets, especially back then. And Ronald Reagan knew all about this. They all knew about what was going on because they wanted to win a war and they wanted some land. And basically they needed money that, they wasn't accountable, like this drug money. And what Teddy's doing, his money's not accountable. You know what I mean? It's not on the books. It's laundering money too as well. And at first, Teddy was selling guns and stuff like that when he first started off with his partner, where he was getting military guns and stuff like that and weapons. So it's going down, baby. I was like, R.I.P. Claudia. But Claudia was vicious, and we got the police. We got none other than Andre sitting over there, Andres or whatever. He's sitting over there, and he's waiting for Uncle Jerome to leave the house so he can go in and he can arrest Auntie Lou. And basically, he think he gonna get a confession out of her. He think he gonna get her to tell. But for a short moment, I thought she was about to break down because she has done a lot. She has been through a lot, basically, on this journey with Franklin, and she got his back to the fullest. And she's been riding with him, and she's like, Franklin trusts her a whole lot. I think he trusts her the most out of everybody. He trusts his mom too, but he don't want to put his mom in everything. You know what I'm saying? So they're about to go in and get Auntie Lou. And then we got Franklin. He's sitting out here. He's talking to Leon. And basically he's telling Leon, yo, we got to tighten up. The police is coming for us. They looking for us. We got to make sure we cover ourselves. We cover our back. We don't be sloppy. And basically making sure that Leon, his hit that he did, that everything that nobody, there was no witnesses and nobody was watching. So that even makes Leon more of a professional, a perfection, and make him more professional too as well, because he knows his boy is on some real stuff and he's on that real stuff too as well. They're not like dumb kids or somebody that thinking about just crazy stuff, having fun and just wilding out. They're thinking about business. They're thinking about staying protected, protecting their family, and protecting themselves too as well. And also having a come up, and they're buying land, they're buying property. It's not like they're throwing the money away, and basically they can't really, they're not going to spend it on expensive cars, because, you know, back then, I guess in the 80s or whatever, you know, people used to ride in expensive cars that was out here dealing and selling drugs. Like if you watch Cocaine Cowboys, I can't think of his name, but he's black and he's from California, and he was actually you know, working along with the Black Widow, La Madama, or something like that, the godmother, basically. And so he's still living or whatever, but they will have fancy cars, jewelry, clothes, all types of stuff. And right here, you don't see them doing that. So they have a little bit of spunk and smartness, especially Franklin, because he learns and he listens and he pays attention. And the last thing he wants is attention drawn to himself. But he got a fresh hairline. Franklin hairline's on point, let me tell you. And so we got homeboy Drew or whatever. He comes through. Basically, he's about to get a pickup, and him and Franklin have a conversation about like a riot that happened in school, a food fight, and the lunch lady got hit with a tray. Teacher was fighting, and Franklin was like, "Yeah, you know, there's some people that like mess, and there's some people that don't. You know, I bounced." And then Drew lied and said that, you know, he bounced too. But Franklin was like, "No, he's the dude that actually hit the lunch lady." And so Leon is not feeling him. Leon don't trust him. Leon wants him out. But Franklin is looking at the big picture now too as well. If you have more people on the corner, you have more people buying weight and material and stuff like that, that would take kind of like the heat off of him, and he don't have to be cooking up stuff and, you know, rocking up stuff too as well, you know, and it takes less time. And then on top of that, you have to have more soldiers. And then on top of that, he doesn't want to have a beef with Drew, because then body shooting, gunfight, whatever, is going to draw attention. And he already know right now at this time and point that, you know, the girl that he's in love with, her father want to see him behind bars, want to see him doing life, baby, not knowing that he's working with the people that putting the drugs on the street, baby. And so Franklin is just talking to him, asking questions, basically knowing that he's about mess, and basically trying to tell him, like, don't be about the mess. It's, you know, stay out of the shine, stay out of trouble. Like, and Franklin is basically seeing what his mind at, and I think Franklin's also curious how people think too, and how people act, and he watches them. It's like a test. It's the same way as Harvey be testing people too as well. Same way Teddy tests him too as well. He's testing this student to see what's going to be coming out of the situation, even though I believe, you know, this dude Drew is going to try to double cross Franklin and basically want to take what Franklin has. But right now he's getting close, he's getting familiar, and Franklin's like, basically, don't get on that stuff. So we'll see what Drew actually contributes to Franklin. Is he going to bring Franklin mess? Is he going to bring Franklin trouble? Or is he going to be a good customer? And it doesn't seem like he can be either or, because his mind is full of mess. He like chaos, and he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. And so we have, you know, Franklin, he's with his mother, he's buying property too as well, and somebody's actually saying, oh, somebody outbidded you basically for the property, and Franklin is just thinking, he's questioning the situation, what should I do? Then he said, Mama, do you think, you know, they actually had another offer on the table if they're lying? But see how Franklin questions things. You know, he's not into real estate or business like that, but now he's getting into it. He learns quick and fast, because we know he went to a high school that wasn't impoverished, a high school that had, you know, teachers that was willing to teach and had all the books and things that they needed to learn too as well. And he was going to go to college, but he realized that the game of life is rigged, and he just got into the opportunity and fell into his hands. And it is what it is with Harvey. So and then his best friend, or the Caucasian kid, that his friend that, you know, he was staying at his house where they had the porno set. I was like, this is just too much back then. So anyways, Franklin is thinking, he got questions, and he knows that Harvey's back in town, so he wants to meet up with Harvey, because Franklin's being careful too as well, because he don't want to use all his accounts. He wants to use certain accounts. He don't want to draw attention to his accounts, because he knows they're going to be watching, they're going to be asking questions, because how do you have all this money? That's how they got Al Capone, because what? Tax evasion, because this money's not accounted for. How are you getting this money? How do you have all this stuff? Well, basically they're keeping it simple, but they're doing everything under a business and a corporation name, and hopefully it doesn't trace back to Franklin. That's why they're using the offshore accounts, and he's trying to, you know, test, you know what, maybe I should use the accounts, you know, Teddy, you know, help me with. Maybe I should use my other account. You know, basically he's just trying to stay safe, and because he knows the cop dude is after him, and he's getting big. even though he's not flashing, but he's big. Everybody knows who he is. He's Mr. Ice Cream, man. You know what I mean? Where's Master P at? So we got Auntie Lou. She's in the the room or whatever. Basically, she's in the interrogation room, and she got to pee. She's cold. She's already sick. She's not already feeling good because she killed a woman that she was in love with. She took a woman's life that she wanted to be with at one point in time, and she left Uncle Jerome. Uncle Jerome for her at one point in time. And this lady, put her on the streets, taught her how to make money. She was her down, girl, or her bottom, female, whatever the case may be. And so she had to do for the business, for the family, for, none of the bullshit to be going on and all that other stuff. So we got the cop, Andre. Basically, he's keeping her in there. She's cold. She needs to use the bathroom. Won't let her use the bathroom or anything like that. And basically, he's saying they got witnesses. She was the last person that was seen, with Claudia. So this situation with Claudia, I think, is actually going to, fizzle itself out, because he just really wants to get Franklin. But, Andre said he'll get the whole family. So he's targeting, people he knew for years. So right now, Andre, basically, he's on a mission. He's on a war path, and there's only one drug dealer in town. I guess it's Franklin. Won't he try to find out where Franklin's getting his supply from? Because he can't bring it over. He ain't shipping it here. He ain't making it up. He had to get it somewhere. The drugs got to come from Cuba, Colombia, Costa Rica, somewhere, But his mind, as small potatoes, small beans. I'm just gonna go after Franklin because he likes my daughter. He's not good enough for my daughter. And since I was in a life of crime before and I couldn't sleep, how can this little boy be able to live a life of crime and still sleep and be happy and then want to get with my daughter? So it's all ego with him, and he doesn't have a lot of knowledge of anything, because he should know that somebody. But where's Franklin getting it from? Once you think about that, if you can put the person that's getting Franklin the drugs, then there's no more Franklin. And then you can really save the community. But you're just going to bring down one drug dealer when there's 1,000 drug dealers in your community. You just target this one because because you don't want him with your daughter. You know what I'm saying? And you feel like your daughter got a little bit of control over your daughter. Your daughter, likes him and wants to be with him, and you are totally against it. And I don't blame you for that. But your reasoning of going after Franklin is not really plausible, is not a good reason, because you're not really changing anything. And that's what these diehard people, and that's the same thing with Teddy. Teddy ain't really changing nothing. He's making the situation worse. But these people believe that they're doing something. They're doing it from the government. They're doing it from the flag. Doing it for the flag. So it is what it is. So, their psychology is messed up. So we have, Franklin, he goes to see Harvey. It's good to see Harvey back. Harvey was a good character. He is a good character on the show. He looks like the 80s, everything with the 80s. There's a Uzi there. There's all types of stuff. He said he likes Franklin. He was never going to hurt Franklin. And you could tell he did like Franklin. He liked Franklin a lot. And basically, with that situation, he's telling Franklin goes to him to see if he can get, some offshore accounts or whatever. Javi's right now is not in a good position because he's working for this one, he's working for that one. He's trying to pay Peter to pay Paul. He's trying to keep himself out of jail too as well. So he got a whole lot of situation going on too as well. And he knows Franklin's in a mix, and he helped bring Franklin into the business, and he don't want to be the one that's going to bring him down either. You could tell he actually likes Franklin, and he respects him too as well. And we have seen that over, since, season 1. I'm thinking there's more seasons. Season 1 and season 2. So now we have that situation. And, you could tell Harvey feels like, don't let greed get you. Because greed is the thing. Once they know they got you with greed, then they win. Then they have ammunition to use against you. When you get sloppy because of greed. You do anything because of greed. You want that money. You want that territory. You want that stuff. You want all this. And this is why Franklin don't want to go to war with anybody. He just wants to sell the product. Just stay off my blocks. But eventually Franklin wants to get away from selling drugs on the block. He just wants to be the supplier. He wants to supply the neighborhood. So that way his hands are kind of clean. But only thing is with a supplier, as you're dealing with one person that is like, the connect that can that give the drugs to the doughboys and stuff like that. But the problem is, once one of them get caught, they start snitching. That's the biggest thing, is dealing with snitching. So if Franklin can kind of, protect all his lieutenants and his main people and have other people dealing with, so it'd be a hard to trace it getting back to Franklin. I think that's what Franklin actually wants to do with this situation. So we'll see what happens. But you can tell Harvey felt guilty. Harvey didn't really want to, do too much with Franklin because he don't want Franklin to get caught up. But, if it comes down to Harvey saving himself or Franklin, he's definitely going to throw Franklin under the bus. And also Harvey gives, Leon a Uzi. Uzis are in the community. Uzis made their way, I believe, in the 80s too as well. The 80s and the late 80s and the early 90s are what artillery to use. And then we have Gustavo. He makes an appearance. Basically, he's really chasing down his love. He's really chasing down Lucia. That's the reason why he's over here at Lucia's house. He don't care about the money. He never cared about the money or the drugs. He cared about Lucia, and he loved Lucia, and that was just it. And so Teddy is playing on that because Teddy knows psychology. He works for the CIA, and he was in the military and all this other kind of stuff. So boom, they go see Lucia's mother. Lucia's mother is not feeling any of them. But, once, she asks for a daughter, they don't know where she's at, and she don't know what's going on. She's acting like she don't know what's going on. But once Gustavo said that he knew about Lucia's sister passing away, that's when, Lucia's mother was basically thinking about negotiating a deal to do business with Gustavo and Teddy, basically using her roots and her trucks and her company people to actually bring drugs back and forth because Teddy needs a new route. He needs a new way to get the drugs back. He needs to get the drugs from the other countries, bring them to America, and put them on the street. I wonder if Harvey's still buying drugs off of, Teddy. So we get to the hood. You got Leon basically playing around too as well. He's with Fat Boy and Homeboy. And basically they're shooting all the street lights. That's the worst thing in the world. They be shooting them street lights. They be dark and everything so they can make crimes and people can't identify them. People won't see their face when the police come through the hood, or when their enemies come through the hood. Like, you only see shadows, you can't really see anything, and it sucks for a regular person that's living in that area that basically is that's impoverished and don't have the means to move out, so they got to deal with not having to get probably getting mugged or anything happening like that. So but anyways, they're trying to protect their stash and protect everything going on. But Leon knows not to have shooting the guns up in the air. I guess I think that's drawing a little bit of attention, but a lot of attention shooting Uzis and stuff. But once you hear gunfire all the time, then you come immune to it, which you call when people in impoverished community and gang community, kids are born shell shocked, and usually you only get that in war, and they're born with PTSD because of all the shit that goes on in their impoverished neighborhood. But yet you see the government bringing all these drugs in, arresting people, putting them behind bars, but getting them hooked on drugs. That if you watch Cocaine Cowboys, how they built Miami, Florida off of straight drugs. So let's move on from this situation. So we got this little kid. He's coming through and he wants to join the gang. This is the second time he came through. You could tell he don't have anybody actually watching after him. He's probably impoverished too as well. His mother's probably working. His father's probably working. Or maybe he don't even have a mother or father. He has a grandmother. Who knows? But right now he's out at night, people shooting up in the air, and basically he's trying to get put on because he want to eat. He need food. And so that's the best type of soldier that you need, someone that's going to be loyal and young, and they start off their life of crime with you. And basically, Leon's giving him some props because I believe Leon sees himself inside this little boy when he was young. And basically he fights Fat Boy. Fat Boy tries to fight him or whatever, but he's too fast and too quick for Fat Boy to get. And Fat Boy was trying to snatch him up and grab him, but he was too fast. But Young Boy was smart enough. He didn't hit Fat Boy. Fat Boy talking about, I want to lace a cap. And, Leon was like, nah, chill out. He was like, Fat Boy was like, can you dodge bullets? I was like, no. And so this is where I think Auntie Louie was about to snitch or whatever, because now he's describing the scene, he's describing neighbors, he's talking about the blinds was open, people can see you, the last person there, your fingerprints is on the syringe and everything like that. And also Mrs. Something and such saw the struggle and this and that. That's when, Auntie Louie looked like she was about to break because she was sick. And so Auntie Louie was like, struggle, smuzzle, what? You lying. But she probably never was gonna fold anyway, because she's one of the strongest people mentally, and Franklin's, lieutenants and family members. So Auntie Lou, she gets out, she's free, and she's home with Jerome. And so then we have Gustavo. He's still at Lucia's mother's house. He's gonna spend the night, and they're gonna do business, and they're gonna talk. She wants 70% of the money up front, whatever the profits are. And then Gustavo was like, nah. And then she was like, well, then after, well, I want 70% for 2 weeks straight, and then after that, we could do 50%. So she's in it. So we already know Lucia's coming in. I hope Lucia comes quick too and get rid of this DEA agent over here acting like she's out here. Basically, she's thinking she's saving the world too, and she's putting her life at risk because she's gonna change something. These people are very dense. Like, they can't see. They only can see their foot in front of them. Like, but she's basically on a bigger scale because now she's dealing with the cartel. So there's no way she's gonna arrest the cartel. What's she gonna arrest? How are they gonna arrest the cartel over there in their country? Are you kidding me? But now she's knowing the roots and the drugs coming back, and now she find out that Lucia family's back into the business. So she hopes to get her hand on Lucia because she wants Lucia. I hope Lucia get her hand on her first, but I don't know. But because right now, she's actually telling her former partner, that, hey, listen, we have a snitch, we have a spy, we have somebody in the DEA office, and Teddy told them that I work for the DEA or whatever, and Blase in the third, so we got an informant. So be careful if you asking questions. So one of them, but I think he's gonna go first. But somebody's gonna get in contact with her, and I think it might be the cartel because they're gonna realize that she's no good. Or she's working for the police, and basically Teddy don't know, but she's putting her life in jeopardy. I don't know how long they're gonna keep her around. I don't think she's, I guess only the reason why to keep her around is see her and Lucia face off. But other than that, she's really not a good character. Her character don't make no sense right now. It's just like, okay, yeah, there's a snitch. Teddy already knows, and basically somebody's working in the office, but it is no. They all know what they're doing. Everybody's a part of something. Everybody's part of some letters, some organization that they're getting away with doing all types of stuff. Entrapment all day, every day. So now she's happy. She just wants Lucia. She wants Lucia bad. And she might be able to get her, or Lucia might be able to get her. So we'll see what happens. If Lucia don't get her, it's going to be the cartel. Or she's going to end up, losing her badge for real, for real. So we'll see. And so we have Franklin. He goes over there. He goes to see, Andre. Basically, he's like letting him point, I can walk right to your door. You touch my family, I can touch your family. Your daughter likes me. I like her too. You can't keep me away. And so basically, he's being bold and he's being brash. And this really pisses off, the cop. It really pisses him off, where now he's gone over, his bosses had to talk to other people to try to get a team to watch Franklin, go after Franklin. But anyway it goes, he would have took some time to do that. But now he's like, okay, you want to play with me, young boy? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Basically he sees Franklin as a two-bit thug or whatever. And he thinks that he's better than him and all this other stuff, and how dare you? And Franklin's like, you touch mine, I can touch one of yours too as well, even though he loves her. Well, because we already see what Auntie Lou did to somebody that she loved, but also abused her too as well. But we'll see how Franklin handles this situation with his daughter. And basically, he's about to run out the house and yell at Franklin. Franklin was like, what? See you later, buddy. What's up? What's going on? And so we got Daddy over here, former military, former Black Panther 2, watching too as well. You see how the cop backed back. He stepped back because he didn't want nobody witness how he be threatening Franklin. And he's not actually obeying the law either. He's actually breaking the law. At the same time, he's trying to bust Franklin too as well. So we'll see how that situation pans out, But father's watching. So the way the father's creeping and watching, he's going to be watching the cop. Or if the cop get too close and get too hot, he might be the one to step in to put the cop in place. Or let him know, leave Franklin alone. So we have Teddy, his former wife, or I don't know if they're still married. She's back. Basically, she got visit from the CIA and the government people. Basically told her to get with Teddy to find out what he's doing, everything that's going on. We're going to keep this on the low, but we need you to stay with him because he's unstable. Because, Teddy was talking about telling. He was talking about snitching. And so now she's there. And I don't know if she's there to help him or not. It seems like she's there to help him, but I don't know if she's only doing it because she has no other choice to. But Teddy's kind of surprised, but he's happy at the same time to have her there. After he messed up his brother. His brother done had a heart attack at a young age and everything. Like, what's going on? So this is going to be kind of, basically there's a lot going on with the government where their planes are getting taken down. They're stealing their artillery, they're stealing their weaponry, they're stealing their drugs, whatever. They need a new route, they need a new person to get in contact with. They need to at least go through Costa Rica and basically be unknown. And she's like, well, his wife is like, well, I know somebody that's on the grid. Basically, we can try to get this person and get involved and all this other stuff. And Teddy was like, I want my people protected, blah, and the third. He's questioning it, but right now he's bent out of shape too because he got a lot going on. So we'll see what happens with that situation. And we got none other than the cop dude basically snitching, going to the big boss, talking about, yo, these drugs about to move into your community. We got to do something about it. And we're going to have something going on at the stadium. We need your help. It's like, we need your help. So it is what it is. And so we got Franklin. He meets up with Andre again. And basically he's telling Andre, you know what? You know how to back it up. You know how to do this. There's no sense of us backing it up for you. We're going to give you the pure. And basically, Franklin comes to the decision where he's going to let him do all that other stuff. Why is Franklin doing all the work for him too as well? And I don't know if Franklin's doing that too as well to see, how well he cook it up. And if he has any questions about it, Franklin trying to see if anybody from his team or his crew, gave him gave Drew any information about Franklin and his team. So I don't know if he's using that as to test him to see if he's able to do everything, if he's going to call Franklin, ask him how to do this, ask him how to do that, blah, and the third, if he's going to have it all set, and Franklin going to be questioning it. But there's other people that cook, because we had the dude from Wu-Tang, actually chef, they call him the chef. What did they call him on the show? Scientist. What was his name? Was it scientist? Or a chef? Or something like that. So anyways, it was RZA. I believe it was RZA, but I can't think of his... What was it? It started with... I can't remember. So anyways, but Franklin's coming to the conclusion where he's dealing with him, and Leon he's not liking the situation. He don't like it at all. But I think Franklin is testing him, and see, Franklin is building up himself as being the chief, being the boss, working with other people, not having, arguments, not having beef, basically getting the drugs away from his house, away from him, because he's coming right to the house to pick up the drugs, right where the cop is, right around the corner down the street, or the sign down the street around the corner where, it's hot, you know what I'm saying? But right now the cops are not on him, but his next door neighbor is said he's gonna get him. It's war, so it's gonna be on and pop, and Leon just wants to pop him. I thought they was gonna throw him in the trunk. Leon was like, I don't know why you trust him. He was like, it's not trust, it's just basically watching people. He's basically building up how he's going to distribute, how he's going to deal with people from now on, and the word be put out on the street. And Franklin's not concerned, because if he gets out of line, he's going to take care of business. He's giving him the opportunity of a lifetime, and if he want to mess it up, then that's up to him, because he's getting pure coke. He's getting pure coke where he can rock it up and do it himself, and he's good in at a good price too as well. And it's not like Franklin's ever going to run out. But it was funny when Franklin said to Javi, the problem that he has is money problems. Ooh, having too much money. And so now Franklin is meeting up with his crew. Basically, he's letting them know that eventually we're going to stay off the corners. That's how people get back and get caught. We're going to stop cooking this stuff. We're just only going to have a couple of, big time drug dealers that we're going to deal with, or whatever, to connect. And basically, cut things off shortly but surely. And some of them can't see the vision because they want to be on the corners making that money, because there's so much money coming in. They got the ice cream truck. They just go around making money. People coming all day. But that's how you get customers snitching on you too as well. You get cops watching. You get investigation. There's just so much going on. But if you can limit the amount that you're dealing with this and dealing with that, and limit the amount of how many times you are committing a crime a day, basically it lowers your chances of getting busted. And that's what Franklin is thinking about, because Javi is not going around selling drugs on the corner. Teddy ain't selling drugs on the corner. None of the people that he actually started to do business with was selling drugs on the corner. You know what I'm saying? And so basically he's elevating because you gotta grow, you gotta protect yourself, you always gotta be a step ahead of everybody. And that's what Franklin is always trying to do, be a step ahead. And he still want to know more information about Teddy. And I think Javi's gonna say something to him about it. Javi's gonna talk to him real quick, give him a little insight. So we get Auntie Lou and Jerome, basically they're about to make some love. So you guys tell me what you think about the episode. The episode was good. You know, they're setting up the foundation for it to get ready of who Franklin's enemies are going to be and who possibly he's going to have to watch out for. And then on top of that, is Auntie Lou going to be more stable? And then now we're going to have Lucia come back in the picture, and Teddy, you know, basically working with his wife. Is that going to be a distraction for him where he's going to mess up and not be accurate with the things that he does? So we'll see what happens. Peace and my one love to all my peeps and my people. You see how they bring these drugs over and these guns and everything, and they blame us. They blame our community for being bad. They call us thugs, but the government's the biggest thugs.